guys, in this episode of Climbing Thoughts On, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts to another horror movie that I recently checked out, that being the newest Resident Evil movie, the reboot, Welcome to Raccoon City. And I think I'm not the only one when I say that this movie was kinda dog shit. Not all was bad about it though. There's definitely things that I liked about it and that I enjoy about it, but by and large, this was a bad movie. And it's so weird because it's, to me, because it's bad, but in a different way compared to the other horror movie that I recently checked out, that being Paranormal Activity Next of Kin. Because Paranormal Activity Next of Kin just wasn't scary enough. Otherwise, it felt inventive, at least with its directing. Like, the director did an amazing job with it, and I really want him to do an Outlast movie. But for this one, the directing was kind of shit. The CGI pissed the fuck out of me, and I'm gonna get into what exactly about it pissed me off in a little bit. While at the same time was actually surprisingly scary. But before we get into the actual meat of my thoughts about this movie, I do want to explain to you my relationship with Resident Evil. I haven't played the games. I know how popular they are. They are something that I want to play and that I plan on playing at some point in the future. But as of now, I have other games that I want to be playing, and I'm gonna be playing. Like, for example, I'm gonna be starting my replay of Outlast 1. So I can replay Whistleblower as well, and then get into Outlast 2, which I haven't played myself, but I've seen people play. But eventually, I do plan on playing the Resident Evil games, all of them. So you can stick around on the channel if you're interested in that. Maybe if this video gets a lot of views, I could maybe speed the process up for doing that, but we'll see. But probably not. On the other hand though, I'm a big fan of the Resident Evil movies. The first one especially, I actually own on DVD, or maybe my dad still has the DVD. I don't even know whether I have it or not. You know what, give me a second to check. Sadly, it doesn't seem that it is in my DVD collection, so it's probably in my dad's, so I can't really get it right now, but I own it on DVD, and I really do love the first movie. I think it's genuinely a really good horror movie. And the ending of it is, I think, fucking iconic. With I think her name, was it, no, it wasn't Jill Valentine, Alice, it was Alice, right? With her waking up and getting outside and seeing Raccoon City completely abandoned. Like, that's fucking iconic zombie shot. And even the second movie is actually overall pretty decent and pretty scary. With the only bad part about it, I guess, is kind of the ending. That's the only part of it that I think it's kind of dumb and stupid. But overall, it's still a pretty decent sequel. The other movies, I haven't really watched much. I watched the one with Wentworth Miller. That one was pretty scary, but I've only watched it like once and I barely remember it, so I can't really judge the other ones. But I do plan on watching through all of them. Again, at some point, if you guys show a lot of support for this video, maybe I watch them sooner and do reviews of them, or maybe even watch them on the channel, who knows. But yeah, I'm a big fan of those movies. And honestly, I'm gonna go as far to say that the first two are better than this one. I think this one was kinda bad. And from what I've seen from people's comments about it on the internet, I'm not the only one who thinks this movie was shit. Yes, I agree with the people who say that this movie is more accurate to the games. Again, I haven't played it myself, so I can't really truly judge it. But a lot of this movie felt video gamey in many ways, so I kind of believe it. I would kind of believe it, that it is more accurate through the games. But yeah, I do have some things that I really like about this movie, so I guess let's just first get the bad things out of the way, because usually I try to go for a positive spin on the things that I'm reviewing, because I don't like spreading negativity. So let's just get the negative side of things out of the way first. So the thing that pissed me off about this movie the most, well, it's kind of two things which are about the same, but let's start off with the one that actually can explain to you right off the bat. That being the CGI. and the directing, I guess, to a certain extent, but more so the CGI. It's dog shit. I think I even kind of talked about that in my trailer reaction to the movie, but it's just dog shit, man. And there's a one scene in particular that pisses me off. Not because the CGI even looks bad. The CGI in this game just looks video gamey to me. But the reason why I hate the CGI in this movie, especially, is because there's one scene of a trucker whose truck crashed and exploded, him being on fire and walking into the into the police station. And the thing that pisses me off about it is that the guy was obviously covered in CGI flames and not real ones. And one could say that who gives a shit, it's just that one scene. But this just kinda pissed me off because at the same day I watched the teaser or trailer or whatever you want to call it for the new Lord of the Rings TV series, where the CGI is again fucking dog shit and it doesn't look anything like the Lord of the Rings and it looks like a fucking video game. And it just it was like the straw that broke the camel's back, because it just angered me about how modern movies CGI fucking sucks, and it takes me out of it. And it doesn't even just apply to movies, to TV shows as well. There have been so many dumb things on shows like The Walking Dead, where the CGI is so dogshit and so not real that it just takes me out of the story and the episodes. Is it so hard to do fucking practical effects? I don't care if they're more expensive. Put the effort, because that makes your product better. When I see the CGI and I realize that it's CGI, it just takes me out of the story and makes me realize that this is not real. And it's bothering me because I can't fucking watch anything modern anymore because of that. Because when I see how fake it is, it just takes me out of the story. And it's ruined several Walking Dead episodes for me because of that. And in this movie, it ruined that scene and a bunch of other ones as well. Like, even when the truck was crashing, it was obviously a CGI truck that it just took me out of the movie. Like, how did the CGI in the older movies look more convincing than this? Do more of that, please. Do more of that. Why can't you do more of that? How has CGI gotten fucking worse? I don't get it. Yeah, I don't want to turn this video into an anti-CGI rant, but I fucking hate it, man. And the thing is, in the older years, even bad CGI I can fucking overlook for some reason. Because like shows like Charmed, which is a show that I've been rewatching for the past 2 years, which is kind of silly to say, but the point is, that show has shitty effects. It's a shitty show with shitty effects, but that somehow does not take me out of the show, because they're kind of convincing enough. I don't know how to explain it, but modern CGI is dog shit. I think the biggest reason why is because of how crystal clear our resolutions have become. So glaring shit like that pisses me off. It just becomes so obvious and it looks so bad. I guess maybe it's the uncanny valley effect. I don't know. I'm not a fucking expert on the field. I just know that it pisses me off. And again, I don't want to turn this video into an anti-CGI rant, so I'm going to stop with that. The other thing that pisses me off about this movie is the pacing. Things that happen in this movie take much longer than one would expect them to take, you know? Because like in this movie, the cops of Racoon City go to a mansion, and I thought that they were gonna quickly go to the mansion and just go back to the station eventually, and would be at the mansion maybe for like 10 minutes or 20 minutes, but no, they were there for like half the movie, which just feels kind of weird. I don't know how accurate that is to the games again, but it just feels weird that they were at the mansion for half the movie. I don't understand where the thing about revealing the secret of Raccoon City and Umbrella came up, because it was just, the information was given to one of the characters out of nowhere, and all of a sudden he was like this inside job guy. who was like had become a spy or whatever, that just kind of came out of nowhere. And this kind of stuff, which is like little things that just does not fit together. It's like for half the movie, I didn't understand why Evan Jogia's character, who I think is Leon Kennedy, why was he in the movie for like the first like third of the movie? He was shown constantly, but I didn't know how he fucking connected to anything. So a lot of random shit like that. Like the basis of what they were trying to do in this movie is actually not bad. It's good. Like the story of uh, Claire Redfield and Chris Redfield being these orphans, and Umbrella using them for experimentation or something, and Claire escaping, Chris staying to be a cop. Like the concept underneath is not bad. It's the execution that is fucking dog shit, because for half the movie you have these characters that do not connect with each other at all. They have no personality whatsoever, which is a shame because I like the cast of this movie quite a lot, even, I would say. But like, there's just, the execution is fucking terrible, man. And it's a shame because it is kind of a scary movie. Like the tone of this movie is scary. I like the opening with Claire, with the trucker getting to Raccoon City, and well, it wasn't necessarily the opening, but like in the early scenes of the movie where she was with the trucker and they hit somebody on the road and they got up and left, and then the shot from them from the forest, that was creepy. And even in the beginning when you have Chris and Claire as children at the orphanage, and Damien Dark with that crazy haircut. I just called the guy Damien Dark as I was watching the movie. It was just so fucking silly for me. It was impossible for me to take him as whoever he was supposed to be in this movie. I'm sorry. The opening scene with them as orphan kids, and Claire sleeping, and then whoever that was supposed to be reaching with the hand, and Claire waking up and them running away. Like, that shit was creepy. There was a lot of scene like that in the movie that was creepy. The zombies in this movie, or whatever you want to call them, the sick people, were creepy. I think the reason why they are so creepy to me is because they're kind of so different from what I'm used to seeing when I see zombies, aka something akin to The Walking Dead. Like, that's why they're so scary to me. But I really, really liked the zombies in this movie. They were pretty fucking threatening, especially in the mansion scenes, in the dark and everything. That was really, really cool. I really enjoyed that. But again, this movie just felt like action scenes with no substance whatsoever. And that's kind of my whole issue with this movie. There's no depth and no substance to the movie. And then it caps it off with this silly, over-the-top Damien Dark mutated into fucking some kind of creature who then attacks Chris Redfield and then mutates even more into an even crazier creature. And that just was silly, especially when he was still like half human. When he looked half human, that was especially silly. Again, going back to the zombies though and how terrifying they are. Were the zombies in this movie unable to be killed by a shot in the head? Because I was really under that impression, because I feel like characters shot zombies quite a few times in the head and they didn't die. So that even makes them even more terrifying to me, and I really, really enjoy that. And even at the end there, when Damien Dark was shot in the head and he mutated even further, that was really cool, I guess. I don't know. It's so... I'm so in two minds about things about this movie, whether they're cool or silly. And then at the end there, where Leon shoots him with a rocket launcher, yeah, that's cool. But again, it is a little bit silly, because how the fuck are Chris and Claire not dead from that? I don't understand. Yeah, this movie is fucking mess. I can't even review it properly. It's just a mess. It looked terrifying. It was kind of tonally scary and stressful, and I like that about it. But it had a lot of moving pieces that just didn't gel together at all. And I stand by my statement that the original movie is better. I don't care if it doesn't focus on the actual characters from the games. It's a fucking better movie. Do I want an actual adaptation that is actually adapting it? Yes. But this was not fucking it, man. I'm sorry. So yeah, that's kind of when I'm gonna end my like main portion of the review with the things I actually have to say about it. Now we're gonna go over my notes that I wrote down as I was watching the movie. So let's go through that. So the first thing I've written is, why is this actually scary? Like I said, this movie was actually kind of scary. It was surprisingly scary, from the opening scene with the kids and the creature who is like what was her name, like Lisa something, I think it was, or whatever. Yeah, I think Lisa Trevor. That was pretty creepy. In general, this movie was creepy. Sure, I will give you that. But again, there was like some silly scenes, like when the neighbors of Chris kind of try to scare Claire, and then the lady comes to the door, knocks, and then runs away, and then runs back in a very silly way and breaks through the window. It's just kind of silly like that, you know. And again, going back to the pacing of this movie, which I kind of forgot to talk about. Like I said, certain things go on for longer than they should have, and certain things start up sooner than they should have. Like, there was no three-point structure to this movie. There was no first part of the movie where these things usually happen. There was no second part of this movie where these things actually happen, and there was no third part of this movie where there's the climax. It felt like the first part of the movie was like 20 minutes long. The second part of the movie was like an hour to hour and 10 minutes. And then the ending of the movie was maybe also 20 minutes. Like, the three-part structure was totally out of whack, and that really bothered me. Okay, the next thing I've written is very interesting, because I've written already seared into my memory. And I don't know exactly what that is talking about. Whether it's probably about Lisa going to Claire and touching her in the dark. That's probably the thing that was seared into my mind, because it was legitimately really creepy. Okay, so the next thing I've written is, what is this? Wrong turn. Because the zombies in this movie very much looked like those cannibals from Wrong Turn, which I honestly really like the concept of the cannibals from Wrong Turn, I just want to say, but it did remind me of that. So next thing I've written is, hello Damien Dark, because like I said, the guy who portrays William Birkin is Neil McDonough, who plays Damien Dark in the Arrowverse, and that's just the role that I connect him with the most, so it just reminds me of that. Next thing I've written is, this movie is legit, which was kind of like a too early thing to say, because in the beginning of the movie, like I said, in the first act of this movie, it's fine. It's actually enjoyable. Like, we're slowly introduced to all the characters of the movies. Things are slowly building up. But then once Claire arrives to Raccoon City, she just starts all going off the rails way too quickly. And especially when you see like how fucking mutated, or whatever you want to call the zombies in the people in these movies are. Like, you would think that they probably would have turned a few days earlier. Already, like, I feel like the change is way too quick. It shouldn't be like not even one day, one evening it was. Oh yeah, I completely forgot about that. But the next thing I've written is, love the early 2000 vibe. I really enjoyed that about this movie. It really felt like it was color graded and shot like a movie from the early 2000s. That's one thing that I really completely forgot how much I enjoyed about this movie. And honestly, already has kind of made me a little bit more positive about this movie, because I love anything that has early 2000 vibes, like 2000 to early 2010s. Mwah. I love the aesthetic of that time. I'm like a sucker like that for that era of television and just anything. Like how people love the 80s or the 90s or whatever. I'm like that for the early 2000s. I fucking love the aesthetic. And this movie hit it in spades. So this is early on, as you can see, and I was very positive about this movie at that point. Okay, so next thing I've written is that is horrifying. I think that is for whenever the lady got up and was like standing in the forest, like I mentioned earlier. I think that's the scene which was really horrifying to me because of the way it was shot. It was really, really creepily shot. I really like that. Then I wrote down a question which is something I genuinely want to ask my American viewers. Is soliciting a ride illegal in the USA? I mean, I'm not even sure whether it's illegal in my country, but I was under the impression that it's not. Because in this movie, you have the main character, Claire, hitching a ride with a trucker to Raccoon City, and then her brother, who is a cop, says that that is illegal. But I'm curious, is that genuinely illegal? I'll probably just Google that now that I've reminded myself of it after I'm done with the video, but still, I want to ask you about that. Then I've written down a joke called 1998 was 2 years ago, right? Which I don't know what it is a connection to, because this movie is set in like the 90s or whatever, so or like around 1998. So I think I came up with some silly joke that I was gonna talk about that I have no idea what the fuck I was talking about. So sadly, you're not gonna get to hear it. Okay, next thing I've written is, as you should know, don't say as you know. Because there was this one scene where the sheriff of the town was talking with the other cops, and Evan Jogia's character, who is Leon Kennedy, comes in and asks something, but because he's a rookie, he doesn't know. But instead of the sheriff turning towards him and explaining to him about what he asked about, he still looks at the cops who do know what he's talking about and says, as you know. And as you guys should know, a character saying as you know to people who know something is a sign of bad writing. It's just a sign of bad writing. You shouldn't have your characters have to say as you know, because they already know. In that case, you're just expositioning to us. Yeah, the next thing that I've written is I hate modern movies. And the next one is also pretty important because it's called especially the CGI. And that is talking about that specific scene with the guy covered in fire and walking into the police department. Because, like I said, it's not only silly, but it just looks fake. And it took me out of the movie. Because how can a goddamn kids show, iCarly, actually do a fucking fire stunt, but not this movie? Explain that to me. Because like there's one episode of iCarly, and I'm a little bit sidetracking, I'm sorry, but like there's one episode of iCarly where one of the main characters sets their kitchen on fire, and it is actual fire, and the character has to poke a broom into the fire, and the broom lights up, and it is an actual fire because you can see the lightning on everything look real, and it's an actual fire. And there's plenty of episodes on iCarly where things are actually on fire, or at least looks more real. If it's CGI, then that's some goddamn good CGI. So it's either just a shit on CGI in general, or this movie CGI and modern movie CGI in general, because in both cases it's just bad CGI. I don't care if it's just that modern movies are too lazy with their CGI, or that CGI in general doesn't look good. I just want to have movies and TV show with actual realistic looking effects. Am I asking for that much? Yeah, I'm sorry. It just really, really pisses me off. So the next thing I've written is the zombies are freaky, which we've already kind of covered, so I'm not gonna go into that. They're freaky. Again, I've written this is scary because the walkers, and I'm pretty sure this is about around the time when they were in the mansion, which was genuinely scary with like the zombies pouring out of nowhere and everything. That was really cool. Although then it begs the question, where the fuck did all these zombies come from, and how the fuck were they not more widespread but were like hidden in the house? Pretty cool Smeagol-like character. That is talking about Lisa Trevor because of the way she moved, and whoever the actress is, it says on Wikipedia that it's Marina Mazepa. I have no idea who that is, but the way she moves is very Smeagol and Smeagol-like, and I really liked it. It was really convincing. I really liked that. Next thing I've written is there's a definite lack of depth, which is very much true, and I think this is about the time when we were reintroduced to Neil McDonough's character Willem Birkin, because he appeared in the beginning of the movie and he was practically gone for like almost the whole movie, and there was no depth to anything around the time of the story. There was no depth. Like, things were happening, but I barely knew what was actually happening with the plot, with like why everybody's mutating and turning into zombies all of a sudden. And the characters like had no personalities, no backstories, no anything, and it just felt like it had no depth, you know? Okay, next thing I've written is they've been giving people water that keeps them alive. Oh! I was like, wait, what was I thinking when I was writing that? I think I kind of understand what the experimentation that they were doing in this movie was. It was about something that keeps people alive, so their organs can be harvested or something. At least I'm under that impression, because towards the end of the movie, you have William Birkin dissecting a living human being who looks like those deformed zombies on the surface, and the thing is still very much alive, but it has its gut open, and he's experimenting and just poking it and everything, and that was actually really, really horrifying. I really enjoyed that scene. Shame there wasn't more of that, because that was really horrifying, but that's what it makes me realize how these zombies are made. They created something that was supposed to keep people alive so their organs can be harvested. At least I think that's what it is. So that's why I've written they've been giving people water that keeps them alive. Because we had a couple of scenes before that where Claire was like wanting to drink, wasn't really willing to drink Chris's water bottle, and then check the sink or something. So there was that. And then at the end of the silly fucking movie, oh my god. See what I've written here. What is this? Kung Pao. What is with the cow? At the end of the movie, when there was like a nuclear explosion or whatever it was being done to Racoon City, there was a fucking random cow. What was that about? Random cow in the background that just got flown away. You... Whose fucking idea it was to waste valuable time and CGI on that dumb fucking cow? Explain to me. Who did that? I hope they get eaten by zombies. I really fucking do. Because that's the silliest and most unnecessary shit in a fucking shitfest of a movie. And that is the last note that I wrote, because at that point the movie was over, and I don't care about post-credit scenes. I didn't check out the post-credit scene. I found out that it exists afterwards, but it's not like this movie is gonna get a sequel. It's a shitty movie. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody likes it, I feel like. So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it because it was a very scary movie and I enjoyed the aesthetic of it, but goddamn is it so badly executed and so all over the place. The thing is, this movie makes the original movie seem like a fucking masterpiece. Because the plot The plot is better, the scope is better, the characters are better. The only things that this movie might have over the other movie is probably the scares are maybe better in this one. I don't know. I haven't watched the other one in a long time, so yeah, I don't know. Hell, even the gore is probably better of the original movie because in this one we literally not have one character die to the zombies. Well, not on screen at least, getting eaten and us seeing the gore of it. So yeah, I don't know. In terms of a rating though, I gave Paranormal Activity Next of Kin a 6.6 out of 10. So for this one, I think I'm gonna give it a 7.4 out of 10. I still think it's a decent movie and a worth a watch, but if you want a Resident Evil movie that is actually a quality movie, just watch the original, man. It's just better in every way, shape, or form. It's just better. But I am curious to read what do you guys think about this movie. So comment your comments, your opinions down below, and let's have a discussion about it. And also, before we end this video, I just want to give a huge shout out to my currently 3 patrons on Patreon: Omar and Bridgman, Deadpool, and Shenches. Thank you guys for your support. I really appreciate it. It really means a lot to me that you have decided to support me and have continued to support me for such a long time. I hope you continue to enjoy my content and continue to support me going forward. Thank you very much. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please leave a like and subscribe. Also, check out the link in the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me over there, and to my Wattpad where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you don't enjoy my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to my Patreon or to my Coffee account, where you can pledge support and help get the channel going, help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think this is pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!